Howdy, I am here today at the Redondo Beach City Hall. Why? Because it is November 14th, which is the first day to pull papers for nominations for re-election to the school board. So I need to go to that door right there and meet with the city clerk and get my papers and find out all the rules and everything else that I know from last time. But I'm going to be doing it again and ready for re-election. Part 2 coming up. Well, part 2 is complete. I've got my election handbook, I've got all my paperwork. It's a lot of stuff to go through and file, but luckily I've done it before. There's a bunch of required forms. The nice thing is this year we have everything on a flash drive, so I don't have to necessarily fill out these forms by hand, and sometimes some of these forms it's just where is it? I don't know. One of these, it was just saying, it's like, yeah, provided on the flash drive. So some of that's there. Calendar of time period. Most important thing on the calendar is this is the filing period. Election March 7th, 2017, election day. So that's my election day that I have to worry about. There's school board, there's 3 openings, and there are 3 of us incumbents who are planning on running. So the question is, does anybody else file to challenge us? If so, it's on. It's a campaign and we're gonna go at it. If not, then it's nice. We can relax, and I wouldn't say we don't have to do any campaigning, because it's an important time in our city and there's a lot of things going on, and I've got a feeling that we will be paying attention to the other races and helping out with other candidates if there's any measures. I don't know what's going on necessarily since the filing period has just started, but got mayor up for election and a bunch of city council spaces up for election. Friends with the mayor, I'm friends with District 1 city council person, I'm friends with somebody running for District 2 city council, I'm familiar with somebody running for District 4, I think is the other one. So it'll be a very interesting time. And one of the more interesting things about the filing process, you know those candidate statements you see at the back of the book? Turns out that, like when you don't see them, it could be a financial decision. You actually have to pay to have your statement put in there. For example, in Redondo Beach, because we are districted for city council but not for school board. As you can see here, English only for a single district is $350 for English, $700 for English and Spanish, and $50 if you want to include a photo. If you're district-wide, like I am with school board, it's $1,100 for English and $2,200 for English and Spanish. And this isn't a profit center for them. This is basically covering costs. Now, there are things that are required, everybody has to do. Affidavit of eligibility, talks about withdrawal, ballot designation. That's really, it's like when people say, I'm a business owner, they talked about how specific or how generic you have to be, that kind of stuff. A lot of rules on the statement, 200 words, and what is a word and what isn't. Like, for example, a URL is 1 word. I believe if I put the Redondo Beach Unified School District Board of Education, that probably counts as 1 word. Things like that. It's kind of interesting how it works. But it's an interesting process. So if you think you might want to run for office, you can see it's not just you say, hey, I want to do it, and you go off and do it. There's a lot of paperwork involved, time involved to get ready, get endorsements sometimes, you have to get started, and then you can file your paperwork. And once you file your paperwork, that's when the real work starts, when you have to run the election. But fingers crossed, I don't have to run that election again this year. So we'll find out, and so will you in a few more weeks of videos.